So when I first stepped into a senior leadership role, I thought that the job was to fix problems. It was to get stuff done, it was to have all the answers for the team, and it was to make sure that everything ran smoothly. But what I quickly realised was that the biggest impact I had on the team wasn't in what I did, it was in who I was, my example, the way that I showed up, and whether that example matched the values and the expectations that I said were important. And that's what we're talking about today. So let's get into it. So welcome to Great Boss Weekly. This is where we get real about what it means to lead a team in a practice, in a small business. Every week I share practical things, stories from the field, from my experience, and the simple tools that you can actually use, whether you're leading for the first time or you're trying to lead better under pressure. Because let's be honest, no one taught you how to be a great boss, but you can learn to become one, and that's what we're here for. So today I want to start by talking about a great dentist that I worked with a number of years ago. Very value-driven, salt-of-the-earth type of guy, genuinely cared about his team and his patients, talked regularly about what he expected, what the vision was, what the purpose was, what the values were. But there was one habit that he didn't see was causing a ripple effect, and that was this. He often arrived at the practice just before his first appointment, sometimes after it was supposed to have started. He'd walk into reception while patients were already waiting. He'd smile and, wave and say, "I'll be with you in a minute." And then he would head straight into the surgery. And, he meant well, but he was under pressure and timekeeping had started to slip. But he didn't realise that this kind of small thing that he was doing, this thing that he did on a regular basis, so a repeated behaviour, was setting off a domino effect in the team. Because the message that gets communicated to the team in those sorts of situations is, this place is a bit chaotic, and that's okay. So when team members then started skipping huddles, when they started running behind, when they started being more reactive to problems rather than proactive, he didn't actually connect the dots. But leadership isn't about telling people what to do. It's about showing them how to be. So the first thing to recognize, I think, is that leadership is a mirror. Your team is going to reflect your behavior, your standards. You can define and celebrate and communicate all you want about values, but no amount of doing that is going to be strong enough to overcome the bad effect of a leader who says one thing but does another. Your team reflects you. They don't reflect your vision statement. They don't reflect your email reminders. You. So if you're calm, if you are consistent, if you are clear with them, then they're going to mirror that behavior. But if you are constantly frazzled, if you're reacting all the time, if you are running late all the time, then they're going to mirror that too. And the same goes for how you handle conflict. It goes for how you show anger or how you express your frustration. It goes for how that you respond to your own mistakes and the mistakes of others. Because every time you snap, every time you shut down, every time you ignore an issue, you are modeling how problems are handled here. You are setting the culture. So every time you stay steady, on the converse, every time you do something well, you own your stuff and your mistakes, and you listen, you are showing a better way. So to make progress with this, the first thing we've got to do is have a bit of an example audit. And this isn't about being perfect. It's about being aware of what is going on. Where are you showing up in ways that you don't intend to? So ask yourself these questions. How do I tend to start and end my day? Is it planned in a calm and methodical way, or is it all kind of rushed and, as quick as I possibly can? What's my tone when I'm under pressure? If things are starting to step up and we're starting to run late, or things haven't worked out the way they should have done, what's the tone of voice that I'm going to use? This isn't about letting people get away with things, but it is about reacting and responding in a way which is setting a calm tone, which is going to move us forward rather than create more drama. What do I unintentionally permit by my own actions? What am I doing that is showing other people that it's okay to behave in ways that I say aren't okay? How do I treat people who make mistakes? Do I take those mistakes on board? Do we take them through a process to learn from those mistakes? Or do I start shouting and screaming at people who make mistakes? And how do I show my team what I stand for? Or do I just talk about it but not walk the walk? Because what you tolerate, even in yourself, becomes what you teach, becomes what you model, becomes what shows up in your team. So now we're aware, we know that some things are going on, we know that we are a mirror for our team. We've got to reset the example. So if you're ready to raise the bar on this, then start with these 3 actions. Firstly, pick one habit that you're going to clean up this week. It could be your timekeeping, it could be how you handle interruptions, how you speak when you're under pressure. Start with one thing and start small. And forgive yourself when you make a mistake, because awareness is the first step towards change. Try and be as consistent as you possibly can. The second thing is we've got to be human. Don't fake perfection. You can't fake it. We're looking for progress. We're looking for authenticity more than anything else. So share your stress. If you're feeling stressed one day, I'm feeling a bit stressed today, so if I overreact or if I speak out of turn, I apologize in advance. I'm going to work hard to make sure that I process this appropriately. Share what your stresses are, but also share your hopes, the thing you're excited about. Share your purpose, what makes you tick. Let your team see that you are trying to lead well, but you're not trying to pretend to be flawless. And then get people's feedback. Ask your team on a regular basis, what do you need more of from me to do your job well? That's going to take a bit of time, particularly if the door has been closed up till now. And then once a month, try this question with somebody that you trust on your team. On a scale of 1 to 10, how did I do as a leader this last week? Stop and listen, and then ask them, and what would have made it a 10 out of 10? It's a great way to learn not only what people appreciate in you and the things that you do well, but also the areas that you can usually make a change and lead in an even more authentic and even more powerful way. So let's bring this to a close then. You don't need to become somebody else. You just need to own your own example. You need to be on it more often than you're not. And when you're not, you're going to own up. You're going to apologize, you're going to learn, and then you're going to lead again. Because leadership is not about a job title. It's about showing up with that authenticity, that clarity, that purpose, and that care that people appreciate. Now, if you want to build a brilliant team culture, if you want to be a great boss, start with you. Please do like, subscribe, and check out the Great Boss Bootcamp at great-boss.com, because nobody taught you to be a great boss, but you can learn to become one. See you next week.